check 1, 2. Alright guys, so just starting a little early. I had some issues with the stream yesterday. Just wanting to make sure that everything works. So, while I may be a little early, just wanted to verify that everything is good to go. Should be the last one in the session, which I believe that I am. Here we are with official practice. It is Silverstone at night. Typical Season 3 format here with GFR. It is going to be a 10-minute practice ahead of a 15-minute qualifying session. Single qualifying, no double qualifying. No split qualifying, I mean, and then it is going to be the 45-minute race with one required stop. We do have a little bit of variability in the weather, though. We do have a chance of rain, I believe, around 25%, so light but Not to be ignored, it does rain here at Silverstone quite a lot. Looking for times around the 20-minute qualifier. Okay, I guess I just looked a little bit late. I saw somebody questioning in the chat that it was going to be a 20-minute or a 10-minute qualifier, but it should be 20-minute and then 20-minute or 20-minute practice, 20-minute quali, and then a 45-minute race. One stop as usual, but once again we do have that variability of weather here at Silverstone. Two classes racing, Pro and Am. Your Pro are going to be the white squares with the numbers. The Am are going to be the gray squares with the numbers. Two separate races going on, two separate championships. But they are also competing for the overall championship. And with this session just starting, we are waiting to see the kind of lap times that we should be looking at. Optimal lap times around here at Silverstone going to be at the 2-minute or just below the 2-minute mark, sometime around the 57s or 58s should be around what we are looking for. Ormiston putting the first time on the board, a 59.9. Respectable lap for most, definitely a good lap. And Ormiston in that Mustang is going to be the one to watch. Currently with the championship sweep so far, as they are eclipsed by Ouroboros with a 59.1. Ormiston, the one to watch, the one to beat, as it is Ormiston winning round 1, round 2, and round 3. I don't believe that he won the preseason round at Suzuka, but has taken home the win at Barcelona, Red Bull Ring, and Monza, looking to do the quadruple and take home the checkered flag here at Silverstone. Currently in practice, a lot of time needing to be made. Around 3/4 of a second off, but if you are new to GFR, new to GoFAST Racing, you will see that these grids, especially at the top of the board, are going to be extremely tight. I believe it was at Barcelona where the top 23 cars on track were separated by just 1 second in qualifying. Ouroboros in the Audis, as Ouroboros and Prieto in the session, yet to set a lap, but is in the session. These Audis still in that championship fight, as they have been bringing home P2 and P3. The Audis have been the top contender for Ormiston in the Mustang, but just have not been able to beat him during the regular season. And in Am, last week, Yakashokis taking home the win, looking to capitalize on another and gain some of those crucial championship points. And I will be adding a poll in the stream chat. If you got those channel points, here's an opportunity to win or lose some. Will Ormiston take home the Wendy's 4 for 4? 4 rounds for 4 wins. Never done one of these polls before, so I'm going to make sure that I get everything put together. So the poll has been started. If you would like to bet some channel points on whether or not Ormiston takes home 4 wins in a row, go ahead and get those predictions in now. And Ormiston has not needed to start at the top of the board. Starting P4 last week at Monza was able to eventually take home the win. In dramatic fashion, nonetheless, the sliding overtake into the chicane, not quite for the lead, but to overtake, I believe, the teammate Audi of Prieto to get at least close enough to battle for the lead. And the Audis have not been able to hold off that Mustang late in the stint. Peach in the Mustang was fastest for a short amount of time, but tricks it in the Ferrari 296, eventually going faster. How is everyone doing tonight? Somebody's already got some channel points on the line that's saying no, that Ormiston will not take home the win. Ormiston will only get the Triple Crown. The hat trick, if you will not go Wendy's 4 for 4. Well, I think you have a good shot at getting into the top 40, but I will say we do have 40 drivers out here. So being in the top 40 is definitely going to hopefully not be an issue. We need to see a little bit more skin in the game. Only 10 channel points on either side. Trix is still top of the timing boards, that 58.4, and the night conditions not really posing much of an issue for these drivers, as we still have quite a close battle for the top spot here in practice. And these predictions will run into the start of the race. So you may have a little bit of overlap to try and get that better prediction in. If you guys have any ideas on what you would like channel points to be used for, please let me know. I know some of you have probably racked up a few. Batage in the Porsche, just like last week, showing good pace, but was just caught up in some of the mid-pack battle in Pro and was eventually shunted, and I can only imagine not really too happy about it. Was able to claw some positions back, but just overall unable to get back where they started. Ormiston not pushing too hard. Granted, it is just practice. Tricks it with the 158.4. And Ormiston now only P9, but I know when it comes to qualifying, we will see these lap times drop, and they will be extremely, extremely close. We have seen multiple lap times within the thousandths of each other in these qualifying sessions. And I believe last week at Monza we did see a tie in terms of lap time. Majority of the field into the pit lane, but we still have a few out there. We are just 15 seconds away from the timer hitting 0, and we will get kicked over to qualifying as soon as the field comes across the line. Couple last minute qualifiers is number 427 of Nate in that McLaren. Abandoning the lap, though, would have been the last to cross the line with a valid lap. Currently 39 drivers on the grid. Quite a large grid. Trixit staying out, looking to improve a little bit, is top of the board in practice, but it does only mean so much. You got to do those laps in qualifying, but I think we will see a lot more pushing in qualifying. Slap out there in that bronzish gold Ferrari. Can't really tell too much with these nighttime conditions. Pulling that Ferrari into the pit lane to get a practice pit stop. That was not a very good practice pit stop, but that's sort of the thing that you practice for. And it is going to be a split quali, with the AM class going out first. Profit in the McLaren 720S GT3. Just the last two corners to go. And now we are good to go for qualifying. Looking for lights on. Who's going to be the first out? Would not be surprised if we see that Porsche of Matage rolling out first, but it looks to be a Mustang. Is that the Mustang of Clint? I believe it may be the Mustang of Clint, but no, it is going to be the Lamborghini of Rogue. Switching away from the McLaren to the Lamborghini. The first out on to the track. As long as they run a clean lap, they will be the first to set the pace for the AM field and the field overall. Riding on board with Rogue as we come into Stowe. Holding it wide to the outside, 2 tires on the curb before we get hard on the brakes for the Vale chicane. Just waiting before we punch it and come around the flat out club corner down the Hamilton straight. Which will take us to the fast flowing chicane, the chuck it in right hander of Abbey. Very, very tricky corner to get just perfect. Very easy to mess up though. Then we come around the farm curb before we brake hard for the right-hander into Village, which will bring us to the hairpin of the loop. trying to get onto that power as early as possible as you can come through Aintree as fast as you can. It is flat out all the way through as we go down the Wellington Straight, flat out up through the gears, looking for the brake marker on the right hand side. It's just the turn marker, but it can be used to reference your braking point. And coming around left field, just trying to limp the car around, carry it around, get on the power as early as possible, float it around to the outside, and then flat out as we come onto the old pit straight through Woodcott's, hanging that car 2 tires on the outside curb before we chuck it into Copse. Very tricky section here, easy to miss that apex, and when you miss that apex you will have to slow down to bring that car around. Very easy to go outside of the track limits and validate the lap as we head into Maggots and Beckett's. Curbs here that can be abused quite a bit. Those sleeping policemen on the inside don't really upset the car too much as we come out of Beckett's around Chapel Curve, flat out as we come down the Hanger Straight by the old airfield. Flying down the Hanger Straight, looking for Stowe once again. Very awkward braking zone. You can take it early, you can take it late. A lot of different lines that you can use through here, but they all incorporate running out wide for the exit. And then Vale is going to be the crucial corner. Very easy to brake too late and lose a ton of time, or easy to go out wide here and do not touch that sausage on the inside. That will completely throw the car off of the racing line and out wide. Same thing with Abbey here. Very easy to go too early, very easy to go too late. You want to try your best to hold it flat out all the way down into the Village hairpin. Double hairpin, very large chicane here, but these slow, tight corners are the places where you're going to make or break your lap. And as Rogue will lead us onto the first flying lap to post the first lap time up onto the timing boards. Hard braking into Brooklyn's around left field. Trying to find the late apex around the outside early on the throttle to bring the car around as smooth as possible. Very easy to get too early on the brakes, especially in mid-engine and rear-engine cars. As it come across line, a 201.94 Rogue will be the time to beat for the rest of the field. And Manelli first on the block to knock Rogue down a peg at 2:05 for Manelli. Clinton the Mustang, and then his Mustang is a party as more and more times come down the board. Bataj, the pole sitter from last week in AM, back on top for now with a 2:05. We have had a spin at Aintree. I think we may have had some contact there, waiting for the rest of the field to go through before re-entering the track. But Mataj in the Porsche 992 GT3R is going to be your AM pole sitter for now. Manelli only 17 thousandths of a second behind in that McLaren 720S GT3. Coming into the Vale chicane now. Very, very close margins even in AM, but as we get into Pro here in about 4.5 minutes, that is where you will see the margins start to come down even more. But for right now, the fight is in AM. This is AM qualifying. We will have Pro qualifying start at the 10-minute mark. These AMs need to make sure that they get their laps in before that timer hits 10 minutes. They can start their final flying lap before the timer hits 10 minutes, as it is the same as crossing the line with 0. But no new laps can be started in AM after that timer hits 10 minutes. Langley, a potential win last week, but bringing home P2 at Monza. Currently pole with a 2-minute 2:95 in that BMW. The pink, hot pink cars, hot pink and purple, can be used to identify a lot of the Super Baked racing cars. A lot of guys coming over from that league. And if you are looking for an endurance event, Super Baked Racing is hosting a 6 hours of Suzuka. It is a paid event, $20 per team, but it does get you access to the race, to the prize pool, but that entry fee is to support the Movember Foundation Men's Health Charity. As part of the funds go to supporting the charity, half of the funds go to supporting the charity, and part of the funds go to the server upkeep, and the other goes to the prize pool for the drivers. And thank you for the subscription, Tubbo. Langley currently P1, but Michael D in the Honda NSX coming out of nowhere, had been running in the mid-pack the majority of the season. In that Acura NSX, bringing it up to P2, but Langley coming out swinging a 1:59.3, the first of the AMs to dip below the 2-minute mark. Langley looking to hold on to the pole position here in AM. We'll have this lap and one more to improve to get that insurance, but in Pro, have they started to queue up at the end of the pit lane? They have not yet. Everyone waiting calmly. No one trying to get that prime position on track first. We do have a few of the AMs that are back into the pit lane, and I think they may be done for now. Manelli eclipsing the Acura NSX, dropping into the 159s, the second of the AM drivers to go into the 159s. Coming through Maggots and Beckett's Matage now into the 59s, and I think Michael D may just barely be into the 59s as well, but the times are dropping as the session goes on. It is cool, the track is sticky, and the nighttime conditions are allowing for a little bit better traction, and as this racetrack improves, warms up a little bit with the tires on track and the rubber being laid down, we will see the time start to come down a little bit. Less than a minute left in AM qualifying. Georgester now up into P2, but a little bit of a traffic jam at the end of the lap and will not be able to improve. Georgester P2, the best they can do in AM qualifying. Langley coming out of the final corner for the final time. We'll have one more lap, 1:59.395, the time to beat, held by the BMW of Langley, and Langley looking to buy some insurance, thinking that maybe a few of these drivers may have some time left in their pocket. Georgester currently P2, Manelli P3, coming out of Aintree down the Wellington Straight, and will look to find a little bit more time. Coming around left field is a little bit deep into Brooklands, but will he be able to find the time coming out of left field? Majority of the AM field is falling back into the pit lane as we are having the majority of our pros, as Manelli 2.7 tenths of a second off of that time of Langley. Langley with a little bit of breathing room as there are less and less, fewer and fewer cars out to best his pole time. Georgester into the pit lane, Manelli into the pit lane. Matage will not improve. Yakashokas, the Monza race winner, eclipsing by 7 thousandths of a second. Does Langley have enough in that BMW to take that pole position back? Yakashokas just 7 thousandths of a second with pole, as Langley looks to find the time. Doesn't need much time. Maybe needs to take a glove off and throw it out the window to reduce the weight of that car just a little bit to find that time needed. Just 7 thousandths. Will Langley find that time? Will Wilson and the Ferrari ahead be able to improve? Wilson does improve P6. Does Langley hold on to the pole position? Yes, he does. Finds 4 tenths ahead of the Lamborghini of Yakashokas. And with a couple more AM drivers coming across the line, we will see if Langley will hold on, dropping into the 58s, the first of the AM drivers to drop into the 58s. But now we have our pro field. Nomad coming out of the final corner, looking to set their final flying lap. It is not going to be a final flying lap, and now the traffic jam at Luffield as everyone tries to find that precious track position. But the first of the pros out is going to be Ouroboros, leading the field, leading pro quali, and looks to set the time to beat for the pro field in that Audi. Ouroboros, no stranger to pole position, but do need to do everything that they can to hold back that Mustang of Ormiston, the unbeatable Mustang so far this season. No matter how much defense these Audis are able to put up against that Mustang, Ormiston somehow finds a way to prevail. Will that continue tonight? Coming through Abbey and into Village. Ouroboros looking to set the time, and I believe that is not the Mustang of Ormiston. That is the Mustang of Peach giving chase just behind that Audi of Ouroboros. And Ouroboros down the Wellington straight into Brooklands, finding that late apex, trying to get that Audi rotated as easily as possible. Maybe a little bit deep into Luffield, but looks to be a good exit, fast exit early on the throttle, opening up the gap to that Mustang of Peach just behind. What will it be for Ouroboros? The first lap in pro is a 1:58.9 for Peach, and it is a 1:58.5 for Aeromich. Aeromich in the Ferrari, leading the pro field as the rest of the pro drivers come across the line. Your Mom 318 in the McLaren, a 58.3. We look to be into the 57s very, very soon. Once again, the top 11 within, actually the top 12 within right around a second. Top 13, actually. The top 13 drivers in this field within 1.1 seconds. Your Mom 318 in the McLaren 720S GT3 currently holds the time to beat. Brute in the Porsche, that Gulf liveried Porsche 992 GT3R, just 18 thousandths of a second off of that time. Not much to be made. All you got to do is sneeze and you'll go just that much faster. Langley currently in the midst of the pro field, which could be a blessing and a curse. You don't want to be in the middle of that battle, but you do want to have that buffer to the rest of your AM field behind. And make sure, if you have just recently joined the stream, that you get those predictions in. Will Ormiston take the win for the 4th time in a row here in round 4 at Silverstone? And don't forget, we do have that potential of rain. A little bit of wet weather is on the board. Is not guaranteed, but it is possible. As we've got just 6 minutes left for this prediction. If you would like to get your predictions in of whether or not Ormiston is going to take the win again, get that prediction in now. Ouroboros in the Audi, now eclipsing the McLaren of Your Mom, but will it hold as Your Mom takes it right back into the 57, the 59, or 57.982 for Your Mom in the McLaren, as that McLaren looks to be a beast to beat. Ormiston only 1.1, or actually almost 1.2 seconds off of the pole time of Your Mom in that McLaren. Maybe trying to find some clean air, but that would definitely throw a wrench. Ormiston now P4 quickly improving. I just need to stop talking about Ormiston. There is no way for Ormiston to be out of that fight. Alright, well, you can get... If you guys can get some predictions in for AM, or I may be able to add something in here in just a second. I can only do one prediction at a time, but I will be able to make another prediction. So if you would like to get your predictions in for Ormiston, go ahead and do it now. I will make a prediction for the AM field.